Hey everybody, my name is Jordan, and in today's video, I'm just going to be giving you some tips on how to become a private teacher. So whether you're a professional athlete, a musician, you want to teach a language, or even academically, you'd want to tutor somebody. So over the last, honestly, 10 years, I started out as a swim instructor. I swam my whole life, and I taught competitive swimming lessons, and I both in a group and privately, and I also taught safety swimming and lifeguard instructing. I taught drum lessons, and I was a theory tutor in college. And now I work full-time as a piano teacher for private lessons. So first off, this is great for everybody. It's a great income. It actually allowed me to quit my job, and now I do it full-time. And it's also great for myself. My musicianship has improved so much since I've been teaching, and it forces me to really evaluate what I am as a musician and what kind of skills I have to offer. So the first thing to ask yourself before you start teaching is, am I qualified? So in order to do this, you have to have a really solid fundamental. So for myself as a musician, and if you're a musician watching this, you'd love to teach guitar. You need to know your scales. You need to know how to read music, not necessarily like sight read and performance level, but you need to have a really good understanding of like where the notes are on the page, how your scales work, how your chords are formed, how rhythms work. You need to have a pretty good knowledge of the history of music, like where does the guitar come from, whatever you want to teach, and also a working experience. So you can't just go to teach something if you don't have a little bit of a reputation built up or some skills that you can show right off the bat. And finally, do you enjoy it? If you're going to be teaching something, it's something that you're going to be studying, learning in your own time, and then you have to go and teach it to somebody else. It has to be something that you have fun doing, or it's going to be miserable. And then secondly, does it fit your personality? So first off, you have to be extremely patient to teach lessons. Sometimes the kids aren't always happy to be there. Sometimes they're really happy to be there. Sometimes they don't always pick up a concept really quickly. Sometimes they pick it up right away. So as a teacher, we have to make sure that no matter how they're feeling or how they're performing, that we are in the same state of mind. So that just means being extremely patient and mild-mannered, and then finding new ways to help guide the students. And just being able to adapt really quickly depending on what the student is giving you. So maybe they don't want to learn this type of music. Just move on, try something else. Maybe as an athlete, they have certain skills that you can hone into. Or if you are teaching someone a language or something you're struggling with, you need to find creative and unique ways to teach them specifically. And then finally, you have to bring a positive attitude to the lessons. However you treat the student is really how they're going to treat you. So welcome them warmly, keep up the energy the whole time, which is why it can get exhausting sometimes, but it really is worth it. The third tip is just overcoming imposter syndrome. All of us feel, if we are in a creative field especially, you always feel like you're not good enough or there's skills that you can improve on. So for myself, I was like, okay, I'm not ready to be a teacher. I don't even know that much yet. You know a lot more than you think you know. Even if you just know scales and basic technique and some piano pieces and piano history, that's something that somebody else doesn't know. And so for you, that's a great place to start. Find students, start teaching them that, and then you grow as a musician while they're growing with you. So you don't need to be this expert guru who knows everything to start teaching. And also just take time to look back, think about where you started, whatever it is that you do, whatever, if you're a musician, think about what it was like when you first started. And then just think about the steps you took to get to where you are now. That's something I have to do often because there's some days where I'm like, what am I doing teaching piano? I don't feel qualified to do this. But I just have to remind myself I've worked very hard for this. I have the skills. And then just another tip, finding students. Where do you find students? So for myself, I actually work at a studio. I'm not an employee. I'm an independent contractor. And so I use their space. I'm under their name. I have an incredible boss, and I get to work with a lot of other cool teachers. And so I use the room there, and it's a really great symbiotic relationship. So I get paid really well, and they take some of that, which is fair. I get to use their space. I'm on their website. So any referrals they get go to me, and I can bring my people there, and it's really credible. So I have taught independently before, which you do make more money, but there's also a lot more risk involved. So where I teach now, it's very structured. I have about 40 students, and I can count on everything. So whenever I taught on my own, sometimes people wouldn't pay me, and it was just me kind of hunting people down. Whereas working for a corporation, you have that consistency and the dependability. So look around in places in your area. So say like for myself as a swim teacher, I found a company called Sweetwater Pools, and that's who I taught through. And then when I taught competitive swimming, I taught through a company called Sail. And so if you're a musician, just look for local music stores and see if they're hiring. But these types of positions are extremely competitive, and I am honestly, it was just the right place at the right time kind of situation to get the position that I'm in right now where I work. And the other thing about finding students is talk to people, just meet people and talk to them about what you do. So a really big one is if you're involved with a church or you go to school somewhere, Church is honestly huge. So just anytime I'm at church and there's like the meet and greet time or I introduce myself to people, I just say I'm a piano teacher. I play the piano. And a lot of the times people are like, oh my gosh, I know someone who wants a piano teacher. And I've actually gotten like 4 or 5 students just from that, casually bringing it up in conversation. Whenever you go out and meet people, talk to them about what you do, own it. Say, I am a teacher. This is what I teach. Here's my information. And the coolest thing about this is I've been teaching piano for like 4 years now consistently, and people will recommend you to their friends. So my whole first year of teaching, I only had like 8 students. And then some of them recommended me their friends and family member. And there's some families where I'm teaching like 4 or 5 kids in the same kind of family tree, whether it's like cousins or siblings. And then they go to the gym and they talk to their friends at the gym, or they go to work, talk to their friends at work. And just through that, I'm actually approaching 40 students that I'm teaching consistently year round. So yeah, in the end, just make sure that it's something you want to do. Really evaluate, is this a good fit for me? Do I have the skills to do it? Am I being too hard on myself? I think I do have the skills to do it. And then honestly, just do it. Even if you just start out with a couple students, it's a great way to get into a routine, finding something that can build confidence in yourself. And it's a great way to get to know new people as well. So if it's something you're considering, whether it's language, academic tutoring, anything, I really recommend you take that next step. I think I'm gonna make more videos about this topic too, talking about how to fill up a lesson time, what type of things should you be focusing on in lessons and whatnot. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about teaching or anything like that for private lessons, let me know, and I will see you next time.